Team India's coach Duncan Fletcher's contract has been extended by putting an end to all speculations about his future with the team. You have to remember that it was here on Sports Quarter on the 8th of this month that we told you that the BCCI is going to hand Fletcher a new contract. The decision was actually ratified today at the BCCI Working Committee meeting. Over the past few months, Indian captain MS Dhoni and senior members of the Indian team like Sachin Tendulkar and Zaheer Khan and the BCCI itself were criticized for the different performances. Question marks were also raised on the coach for India's disastrous test performances. Since then, Virendra Sehwag's been axed, Zaheer Khan's been axed, Gautam Gambhir has been axed for non-performance. But Duncan Fletcher has survived. It's no surprise though, because what we've heard from our sources in the BCCI was once Dhoni had been measured with the same yardstick, once Dhoni had been given a lease of life as Test captain, despite the drubbing, they had no choice but to apply the same yardstick to Fletcher. On the show with me, I have Saurav Ganguly. Go across to Saurav first. Saurav, are you surprised by this decision?
I had expected it, to be honest, and I expect him to take this Indian team to the World Cup in 2015.
Means, all right, that reaction comes as a shock to me because Duncan Fletcher, look at his record, and you're saying that he'll take India to the World Cup 2015. Where are we going to defend our title?
Yeah, I know he's not had the best of the records. He struggled in his tenure as coach, but then it also depends on what the board and the people who decide the future of Indian cricket thinks about him. As you rightly said at the start of the tour, Dhoni has been given an extended run, and probably Duncan Fletcher has been measured on the same yardstick to take Indian cricket forward. I think it's a good opportunity for him to make amends of what has happened in the last 2 years. He's got a lot of tough cricket coming after this series. It's going to be cricket away from home, but at the same time, it's an opportunity for me. Everything in international sport is an opportunity, whether you play at home or at away, and hopefully he takes India through to the 2015 World Cup.
But Nikhil, look at his record there, and 11 Test matches away. You've lost 8, you've won 1, you've drawn 2, and those against West Indies.
Well, true. We've been abroad and we've lost. 8 on the trot is not going to be easy. And like Dad just said, there's a lot of tough cricket coming ahead as well. No disrespect to Duncan Fletcher or any of the overseas coaches. I think we've got in our own house some of the legends of the game. I think it's about time that we hand over those reins to an Indian coach. Because don't forget, when we had the Indians coaching for the T20 World Cup, we've done well. We beat England in England after 21 odd years. We understand the culture, some senior guys, you understand the domestic structure, you can identify with players, give them roles in the side as well, each player for what role, where would he fit. I think that only an Indian coach could probably understand better.
We're talking about, at least I've talked about test records, but even his one-day record in Australia, CB series, India didn't even make the finals. Look at what happened in the ICC World 2020, India didn't make the knockout stages. It's been pathetic, and that's what's shocked most of the cricket fraternity and probably cricket fans all across this country.
Yes, I think so. I think it's not been very good. You've not spoken about Pakistan and even England and Asia Cup. So yeah, he's gone through a tough time. It's also a team which is being, it's a change of baton. It's a rebuilding side. So probably the BCCI has thought that let's give him a go and see where we finish. Also, I don't know whether there were good enough substitutes for the job who wanted to take this job forward. That could also be a case with the BCCI, but I don't know. We don't know from outside what's happening. I've heard that probably Stephen Fleming was spoken about, and he didn't want to do it. So there were questions of having options as well, and at the present moment probably BCCI felt that Duncan Fletcher was the man to take forward. So if he goes on for one more year, so that's March next season, and I don't see him being changed after that, because that would be unfair on a new person coming in to take India to the World Cup in 8 months' time. So you expect and you see Duncan Fletcher going to Australia in 2015. So he's got good 2 years to put Indian cricket back on track, and hopefully he does it.
But Nikhil, do you feel a sense of outrage that here are proven match winners, Zaheer Khan, Gautam Gambhir, Virendra Sehwag, they've been sacked for not performing, and these are guys who have a proven history of winning you matches. And here comes the coach who's done nothing basically to help Indian cricket or to take Indian cricket forward, and his contract gets extended.
Well, it's unfortunate to see some of our greats, like Virendra Sehwag, somebody who's played over 100 Test matches, Zaheer Khan, who's done exceptionally well. These guys' form is dipped, and no disrespect to Mr. Fletcher, but of course, when you go on performances, sport, especially international competitive sport, everything is based on performances. When you're not doing well, your team's not doing well, while you're holding on to the reins, I guess it's time for someone like him to make a move on And this is probably the perfect opportunity. Dada says, it's going to be unfair on the man coming in, in 9 months' time. I guess in that regard, somebody should have had the vision to think ahead and say, well, if you're going to make a change for the 2015 World Cup, this is the best time. Let him build a side for the 2015 World Cup. Let him work with the side, because you've got going through this transition phase. If you don't give somebody new enough time, how will you go out there and rebuild a side? And that's why I personally felt that we should have an Indian coach now. I guess it's about high time. Why we keep looking outside anywhere else in the world when you got some of the world's greatest legendary figures in our own backyard that can do, probably a better job of what actually has taken place in the last 16, 18 months.
Would you agree with that point Nikhil's making? Maybe it was time to look inwards rather than outwards?
Yeah, there's always an opportunity inwards, but the big question which comes in, that how much are these big players ready to give time? Because you must understand that it's not an easy job. It's 9 months on the road, and that's the biggest challenge a lot of the big players face. Somebody like Kumble, Dravid, who's just finished, Lakshman, maybe myself, Kapil Dev. You talk about the names, that's also an issue. So that's the way it is, and it's a full-time commitment. It's not just about wanting to do the job, but it's about also wanting to be on the road for such a long period of time. Obviously, Duncan has made that commitment over a long period of time, whether with England, Zimbabwe, and now with India. So these criteria do come in when you decide a coach. But I think the BCCI has really backed him, which is a good sign in terms of, say, by backing someone. Whether it's right or wrong, only performance will say in the future. It's not been good so far, but maybe in the future he's got an opportunity to turn things around. And probably BCCI said, if you've put us in the dumps, you find a way to take us out, and that's the way it's probably going to go for the next 2 years.